What I want to talk to you about today is the difference between success and failure in game. And first of all, I want to start with the slightly puzzling statement that what many of you guys consider success, I probably consider failure. And what I consider failure, many of you guys would probably consider success. What do I mean by that? Well, for example, if you had a choice between two sets. Set number one, you walk in, you get immediately blown out, ignored, not even like acknowledged, just full dismissed. Set number two, you go in, you have a nice conversation, you have smiles, laughter, several hours of getting to know somebody, and then at the end, you end up getting a phone number, but it's not super solid. It's you had to push a little bit forward, you don't know if it's all that great. Which to you is the worst interaction of the two? Now, I'm gonna argue that getting blown out in 30 seconds is the better set. And here's why. Opportunity cost. If you get blown out in 30 seconds, you still have the rest of the night to go do amazing things, to go meet great people, to go have something actually come down the pipe. If you spend 3 hours on your set, you just wasted your entire night on one girl. You just wasted your entire night if you chose the wrong one. So to me, that's what I consider the disaster set. That's what I'm trying at all costs to avoid, okay? Now, take a second and reframe that in your head, okay? Rejection is okay. Rejection, in fact, is much better than non-rejection, right? Or to phrase it differently, there's a difference between non-rejection and success, okay? Just not getting rejected doesn't equate to success. You don't want some lukewarm bullshit set that doesn't go anywhere, and you don't, more importantly, want to waste your night. So how do we avoid this? How do we avoid these sets that are gonna waste our time, waste our nights, kill our time out? Well, to me, what you wanna do is you wanna get the objections on the table early. You wanna find out the things that are gonna get in the way of the set going well for you. And for me, going well means either taking the girl home, or it means getting a number that's so solid that I could almost count on her to follow up for me. Now, I am gonna follow up. I'm not gonna trust it. I'm not gonna put it in her hands, because knowing how girls are, that's not a good policy. But I want it to be almost good enough that I could trust it in her hands. So what I'm gonna propose to you is the biggest risk in game is not rejection, it's opportunity cost. Okay, so what's that gonna mean? What that's gonna mean to me is you need to think critically about the things that actually are going to fuck up the set and the things that won't, okay? And what I mean by that more than anything else is get the objection on the table. You do not wanna have a situation where you're conversing with a girl for 20 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and you don't know the situation. You need to find that information out. It is critical to your night that you find that information out as soon as possible so that you avoid the major fuck up that I just told you about. Now, what are the most common things that will mess you up? Let's see. Her friends, number one. Number two, logistics. Do you have transportation? Does she have transportation? Do you have a place to go? Does she have a place to go? That's something that can get in your way. What are the distances you're talking about? Does she have other plans? Is she working? Those sort of things. So things like logistics are gonna be big fuck ups. Other things that'll be big fuck ups. What if you spend 3 hours talking to a girl and then you find out 3 hours in she has a boyfriend after you just entertained her for the whole night for free, right? What about that, right? These are the things you want to avoid. How do you avoid it? By making your intention clear early and by being proactive, okay? So many guys, if you're talking to a girl and it's going pretty well and she's by herself in a club, will just be happy that she's by herself, will just enjoy the fact that it's going well, and will not take the time to find out what the actual situation is. They'll just hope and pray that somehow by happenstance it will work out for them. That's bullshit, okay? You have to, as a man, be proactive and make it happen for yourself, because it's not gonna happen for you, okay? So rather than sitting in the warm end of the pool and enjoying the good emotions you're getting, rather than just hoping and praying that it goes well in the end, you need to take action, even if it's awkward, even if it's gonna fuck things up right now, okay? You need to find out Who's she here with? What's the situation? Is she with friends? Is she with a boyfriend? What's the deal? Okay? You need to find out the logistics. Did she drive? Did someone else drive? Etc. You need to find these things out. Even if it's gonna be awkward, even if breaking a nice little lovey-dovey conversation to ask, who are you here with, takes you backwards emotionally in the set, it's still the right thing to do, because you know, in your heart of hearts, you know that sooner or later, some ugly fat war pig is gonna fucking come out of the woodwork, swoop her up before you have a chance to talk to her, and drag her away. So, would you rather have that happen and then have the nice excuse for yourself, it wasn't my fault, I ran a good set, I couldn't have controlled that? Bullshit, you could have controlled it. You could have controlled it by being proactive and figuring it out ahead of time. You could have controlled it by asking the simple question, who are you here with? And then coming up with something with her to explain it away. Okay? Take that proactive action. Other one, get the objections out ahead of time. If you wait half an hour to show intent, first of all, you're probably not going to do it. Most guys don't have the character to overcome the social pressure of showing intent when they haven't for 15 minutes or half an hour. But let's say you can. Let's say you're man enough to do that. Even if you do that and you wait that long, by not showing intent, you will not find out whether she has a boyfriend. You will not find out whether she has someone who's watching her who's gonna like get in the way or interfere. You won't find these things out. Your job, like I said, is to find these things out as quickly as possible so you do not waste your fucking time, all right? The most valuable asset that you have in life, but in pickup, is your time. There are plenty of women on the planet. There are plenty of them that are hot. There are plenty of them that are amazing. Do not waste your entire night with a girl that is not going to go somewhere with. Do not waste your entire night finding out something you could have found out early on. So the message I'm going to give you is very simple. Fail faster. Fail faster, fail more completely, and fail more explicitly. Even if your model of game, even if what you define as success is getting that one girl, the hottest girl in the club, and you're willing to devote your night to that girl, it's still worth your time to get the objections out of the way and out in the clear. Why is that? It's because now you can deal with them. You can deal with a clear objection. With a clear objection, you can reframe it, you can pace and lead it, you can out-logic it even. There are many, many ways to deal with an actual, legitimate, tangible objection. But a vague resistance, you cannot deal with. If you go to touch a girl and she's like, is not compatible, but I have a boyfriend is. Or, sorry, my friends are watching right now, so I can't, is. That's actually compatible, but is not compatible because it's not logical. It doesn't really exist. It's not some like tangible thing in your mind. Great example of this came from an online game. There's this girl that I messaged her a couple times, and it was great. She's flirting back, like giving like even like sexual like flirtation back. But then I tried to close for a phone number, and she just went silent, like full silent. She was like responding like very quickly, went full silent for like 3 days. Like, what the fuck happened? So then I reinitiated it. Oh, all of a sudden she's back on again. Start flirting again, gets flirty again, great. Go for the phone number again. All of a sudden, silent 3 days. What the fuck? Why is it so flirty but it just won't close? Try it again. And this time I was a little more pushy on the close and like pointed out the like absurdity of the fact that she just like wanted to have like this online relationship and not take it offline. It is ridiculous, right? And then finally she brings out the real objection, goes, I'm sorry, it's just you're a little old for me, right? I'm 30, she's 21. She's like, I'm just a kid, you're a little old for me, I don't know if I can handle that. Okay, fine, now I have a real objection. Once I had the real objection, I was able to pass the shit test, deal with it, handle it in a real, actual way. Two messages later, we had a date, and then on the first date, we ended up having actually sex in public, which was pretty fucking crazy and pretty amazing. When it was, what's your number? Silence, I can't deal with that. The objection's not out in the open, you can't deal with it. But once you have the actual objection, now you can deal with overcoming the objection. So I want to posit to you that the actual goal of game, aside from getting some level of good emotion, because that is obviously necessary, but beyond just getting some minimal level of good emotion, your biggest objective when you walk into a set should be to get the objection out on the table as soon as you possibly can, okay? Find out find out what the biggest objection is going to be, and deal with it. Don't hide from it. Don't hide from the objection and try and avoid getting it out there. Don't hide from the no that you're going to get on the way to yes. I've said this many, many times. As you get good at this, it's not going to be that you don't strike emotions that's going to make you fail. What's going to make you fail is you don't take care of crossing your T's and dotting your I's. You don't take care of your logistics. And really, the biggest reason why that happens, it's not even that you don't know how, it's that you get lazy. It's that you take the easy way out. It's so much easier to just hang out in the warm end of the pool, enjoy the good emotions, and not figure out the next step. It is your job as a man to be proactive, to take care of business, and to make sure that the next step is in line. You have to have the information to make that happen. So, get the information out there, even if it leads to an objection. Now, objections that are more legitimate, right, that aren't like emotional objections but are logistical objections, like the type of objections I've mostly been talking about, that you want to get out on the table. For example, I didn't drive, I'm with friends, etc. Now what's going to be called upon from you is that you be a creative problem solver, all right? Come up with a creative solution, and you will be surprised what works for creative solutions, right? I've said this before, there are certain girls that would rather have sex in public than go back to their place. Right? Certain times, because if they go back to their place, it's their fault. If they do it in public, it just happened. And so that's better. I had a situation where I was on a date recently and I couldn't pull to my place. She had roommates and she made that clear, and so it seemed like it'd be awkward to go back there. She worked at a clothing store. She's a manager at a clothing store. And so I suggested that we go to her clothing store. I suggested, you know what, why don't you just show me around your store? I'd just like to see it. I'd like to find out a little bit about you. You can kick me out, I'll go home, whatever. I just want to see it. I just want to see, you know, what you're all about. And, you know, I want to do it, you know, it's just us. You don't have to deal with customers, etc. I want to see. I think it'd be cool. And so we're getting in the cab and we're about to go there. And then funny enough, just as she actually had agreed to do that. And then funny enough, as we were on our way, she's like, wait, that's, you know, not the best idea. Why don't you just come over to my place? And then she texts her roommates, clears up the logistics, takes care of it. All right. But the fact of the matter was, if I had actually like played to try and do like get rid of the roommates like directly, it probably wouldn't have worked. I early on tried to push that angle, and it wasn't happening. It just wasn't flying. So the only solution that I could come up with in the end was to try the store. And even though that didn't end up working, it ended up leading to what would work, because it creatively got me over the point where we weren't deciding whether we were going to hang out later anymore. Now we're deciding where we're going to hang out later. So by changing the nature of the question, by being a little creative with the solution, all of a sudden I made something that wouldn't work, right? So you always want to be creative and never discount possibilities. I know guys who have hooked up in parks, near ice machines, in bathrooms, whatever, all kinds of stuff. So you never know what is or is not possible in a situation until you try it, right? And worst case, at the very least, if you try it, you're gonna have a good story. So try this. So let's reiterate. Lessons from this video. Number one, what is the worst set? The worst set is not the quick blowout. The quick blowout is okay. The quick blowout allows you to go on with your night. The worst set is the set where you waste hours and hours and hours with the girl, spend the whole night and get nothing out of it. Because it didn't just kill that set, it killed every other set you could have possibly run during that night. And your time is worth more than that. Your time, your energy, your effort, your possibility, your opportunity cost is the most important thing you have in game. So guard it so strongly. It's the biggest, it's the biggest thing you have. Take it, take care of it, protect it, value your time. Respect yourself enough to value your time and value your night. So lesson number one. Lesson number two, get the objections out early. Why? Again, to avoid that waste of the night. Also because the earlier you get them out, the earlier you can handle them, and the better interaction you can have, the longer interaction you can have once you've dealt with them, in order to build comfort, in order to be able to pull, to be able to make a phone number solid, etc. Also because by getting them out, you can handle them on your own terms. All right? So that's it. Get the objections on the table. Do not hide. Do not run a game where you have nice emotions and never get anywhere. That should not be your objective. Your objective should not be to make it feel good. Your objective should not be to make everybody happy. Your objective should be to have success. And in game, that means getting the girl somewhere where something can happen. So make sure that happens. Proactively make sure that is what's on your mind, not some lukewarm bullshit, feel good, warm into the pool, avoid good emotions, avoid rejections, all right? Fail faster, fail early, fail often in order to succeed. That's it. That's my message to you. End of video.